Hi, everyone, fellow weirders and people. How are you doing? I'm going to be painting the Queen, I think Adi Adara from the Deepest Depths box. Depths, it's a difficult word. Deepest Depths. And going into this, I'm actually not entirely sure how I want to paint her, but we'll see. I think we'll get to something cool. I'm sure we will. So, how are you all doing today? I'm realizing I'm going to start out by Googling the deepest depths nightmare books. This is great content here because I realized that looking at the artwork and starting out painting her might be a good idea. I'm not sure if we'll paint her exactly like the artwork, but it's a very nice color scheme. She's got a lot of pale purples and khaki and a splash of green in there. It looks really nice. Posting a link in the chat if you want to see it. Maybe we'll go for that. Sometimes I have a clear idea of what I want to do. Sometimes I have a bit of an idea of what I want to do. And this time, I'm not entirely sure, actually. Think we might go with like a little bit more heavy on the green and turquoise theme. Like turquoise and purple could look pretty cool together. Maybe some khaki in there. Havoc MKR Studio, pretty good. Paint her, him, it, however you want. Thank you. Yeah, I will. Just sometimes I'm not really a person with a plan, right? So yeah, let's start out. Maybe we'll get some inspiration when we just slap some paint on there. I'm thinking we can start by painting her skin. That's always a good start. Painting, like I've said earlier, that I like to start off by painting the face and then, well, usually like also the skin, and then try and balance everything around that later. So I'm thinking I'll start off by mixing together a little bit of Citadel Slanish Grey and Nagaroth Night. And I decided to go with a like a black undercoat for this one, because I just felt like I wanted to do a pretty dark dark, moody paint scheme. If that's where we'll end up, we'll see. I tend to like to use quite a lot of color, but I don't want it to get overly bright. So if you've never seen this miniature before, she is part of the Deepest Depths box set. She's called Adi Adara, and she is a countess miniature for Nekima from the Neverborn faction in Malifaux. But you can also play these as Gibbering Hordes characters in the Other Side game, which is Malifaux's really awesome sister game, I guess you could call it. Same setting, but it's set on Earth instead of in Malifaux. So it's a nice, neat, cool crossover box. So I'm thinking we're painting her skin this sort of purple gray paint mix, and then we'll build up. Is that in here? Yeah, I think so. Build up highlights from there. Probably adding in more Slaanesh gray, which is a weird paint color unless you know the lore behind Warhammer, I guess. It's still a weird paint color name. Paint color? I meant, yeah, paint name. So Havoc MKR Studio, are you painting anything cool right now? Or itching to get home and paint something cool, perhaps, depending on work situation and where you live, etc., etc. Trying to get to the skin in between these little legs, I think, in the armor. It's like she's got a kind of crab shell armor or something. Working on Games Workshop or commission before I stream later today. Cool. I should look into your channel and follow you. Her new orc stuff is pretty cool. I painted a bunch of it too as commissions. And I painted a whole lot of gremlins on this channel, which we will raffle out whenever I'm done with the base for the last one. Order effects take a bit of time building them up. But probably will raffle out that Bayou starter set next week, I'm thinking. Just gotta finish it up, snap a few pictures of it, like the miniatures haven't photographed yet, and the whole little crew in their entirety, like a group shot, I guess. And then we can do a little raffle. Should be fun. Last miniature play Wyrd. Something needs more DACA. Yeah, sounds like work. Sounds like work right there. Getting my daily dosage of caffeine here. Where was I? Oh, the other Gen Con exclusive miniature is in the mail to the lucky winner right now, having arrived in the US, I've seen. I always get a little bit of paranoid when postal services are involved, but so far it seems like it's doing all right. Witchlight, hi, welcome. Something needs more sweet, surely. Yeah. That sounds about right. Are we getting all the skin parts? Oh, right. So her hair is maybe not hair? Or what is it? No, it's probably hair, right? It's difficult with all these mer creatures, right? Can never tell. So how are you doing, Witchlight? Is that... Yeah, I think we got it right. And like obviously her octopus arms are also her skin. So should we paint that the same color? Or maybe they should be a little darker. Maybe I'll try painting the octopus arms, legs, whatever you want to call it, on her in pure Nagaroth Night, and we'll see if we like that. Waking up, getting set for my workday. Cool. Yeah, I'm streaming from Sweden, and here it's 5 p.m. But I think most viewers are probably American, maybe some Brits. I don't know. Where's everyone from? Witchlight is a cool name, yeah. I I was actually thinking that too. It's cool. Hashtag cool nickname. Havoc MKR Studios from Texas. Nice. I'm from the Doc Nestje. Sorry for butchering your nickname there, but welcome, Doc, or the Doc. Netherlands, living in the UK. Cool. I live in Gothenburg in Sweden. It's a pretty neat name for a city. Gothenburg. Though it's called Göteborg in Sweden, so that's not as cool. You got a really cool name for a city in the US and UK. Gothenburg. Playword says, and that's Kimberly, by the way, Playword. Kim says, I lived in the DFW area for a while. Do not know personally what that is, but I bet someone in the chat does. Dallas area, okay. Only place I've been in the US is Miami. But I'd like to go back sometime. Which, just outside LA, neck deep in avocado toast and want to be starlets. Starlets. Nice. Been watching You on Netflix. Very Dexter inspired, but in LA. So currently that is my reference for LA. At least I think it's in LA, right? Yeah, it is. Actually had avocado sandwich right before the stream, but not toast. One of these weird hard breads, crackers. Don't know what you call it in English, really. DFW means Dallas Fort Worth because sometimes our cities merge together. Ah, right. That does tend to happen, yeah. Nathan Severston, Minnesota here, Central Northern State. Cool. And hi, Nathan. And hi, Ashenhold. Nice seeing all. Nice seeing all of you here. I stutter a little bit sometimes. Forgive me. Sure you're fine with it. So, how are you doing, Nathan and Ashenhold? Speaking of countries and Europe, US, I think last stream I said something about like some users said that Moana, I think it's called, and that Pixar movie isn't called Moana in Europe because of other references, but like in Europe. And I disagreed because I'm like, no, it's just called Moana in Sweden. And then afterwards, I learned that no, I was just full of shit. Just thought it was called that because all the American media we consume. So sorry about that. Don't recall who said it, but I should hold. These Nightmare Box minis look excellent. Yeah, they are really cool. And perhaps a tiny bit intimidating. Such a cool miniature with such cool details, you know? I should hold. I'm good, just working away whilst I tune in. Nice. Glad I can keep you company on your work day. Sitting here painting octopus arms for legs. For arms? Vanivas. Hi, cool. You got your box. Excited to paint it. Nice, and welcome to the stream. Wishlight, regardless of what the name is translated to, the movie is great. Yeah, actually, I don't know why I just like, well, actually that. I haven't even seen the film. That's a little embarrassing. I should watch it. Oh, did you hear that crack? That was my neck. Nathan Severson, I've seen you work on the Wyrd plays for the last few years. Keep up marvelous work. Thanks, that means a lot. I'm glad you like it. I think so we're keeping the black undercoat as like the deepest shadows, which is a really nice thing about black undercoats. If you want to do paint a dark subject, so we're using that now. Soon going to start highlighting the upper body skin, I think. Probably just gonna paint over these. What are they called? Suction caps? Cups? Something. A bit of purple. Yeah, I kind of wanted to paint this earlier, but then we had mishap and I was really excited to paint her. And then after that, I decided I'd finish up the Lost Bayou starter miniature. But now we're here painting the Nightmare Box finally. What she's standing on? Well, I I decided I wanted her to stand on some cliffs, maybe with some water splashing around it, like something about like painting the that could be a bit puzzling is like, do you want to paint them to be underwater or above water? Do we want like a stormy sea surface and she's above it, like magically floating around? Or do we want to pretend that she's underneath, like underwater? But regardless, I want like a bit of cliff, some rocks that she's standing up on top. And I'm gonna sculpt some cliffs around this, but whilst painting her, I just rummage around for something to help elevate her a little bit. I mean, she's a queen, she needs to be elevated a bit. And I found this. It's actually a rhino door from 40K that I didn't need to use, and I just glued it on there. So I'll just sculpt some rocks above it later. So it was a simple matter of just using leftover materials. I guess it also means that I don't have to use as much green stuff or Sculpey and stuff like that to sculpt the whole cliff base. So I'm now going to highlight her upper body's skin with the same mix we used before, but with more Slaanesh gray compared to the Nagroth Knight. Both paints from Citadel. We are going to cover up almost everything from the previous mix, only leaving like thin lines of shadow. To accentuate the muscles and etc. She's majestic. She needs a trusty steed, maybe a shark or something. Could be cool, though. Getting this miniature to ride a shark would require some severe alterations of the miniature. She sure is majestic. This brush is a little bit worn. Anyone gotten any games in lately? I tried Maxine for the first time recently. She was a lot of fun. Though I feel like I need to practice playing her more if I'm gonna be able to play her in a tournament, because it took quite some time to play her. for me. She's got some scary teeth, this woman. The duck played Dashel for the first time. First card on the first activation, Black Joker. Well, then you won't have to see it for a little while. Was it a critical action? Like I tried I've tried the Sonia Creed title once, and activations 1 and 2, I Black Jokered her once per turn action, which kind of sucks. Witchlight, I've yet to play a single game. I picked up Through the Bridge a few years ago, and now I'm finally sitting down to look at what I want to start with in M3, paralyzed by so many choices. I get that. There are a lot of cool choices now. I'd say probably go with the miniatures that just look the coolest, but maybe that doesn't narrow it down very much. I guess you could go with a faction that has the most crews you really like the look of. Since collecting one faction at a time can be a good thing in some ways. Although you don't have to do it like that. Always real cool, yeah. I agree. Rules come and go, miniatures are for life. Aw, that's some deep stuff there. Words to live by. I'm currently playing Explorers, but Arcanists were my first love, and I'll always go back to them now and then. I also love Resurrectionists. And sometimes I feel mean and play Guild. Not that Guild is super nasty necessarily, just that they're just really mean, scary organization. Witchlight, yeah, that's most likely what I'll do. There's been a couple of minis I wanted to start with, but stock impossible to find, etc. Now that sucks. National Explorer Society for me. I love the Victoriana, all the Victoriana. That's cool. Explorers. It felt a bit wrong when I played Maxine and didn't pick Research Mission. Because thematically, that's what she's doing, right? Mostly. So, Witchlight, what's the coolest miniature you've seen from Wyrd? Do you have a favorite? Now I'm going to Slamish Grey with just a tiny bit of Nagros Knight. And after that, I'll go with pure Slanish Grey. Where? Okay. Sorry, I had to get real close to the face to see where the mouth started and ended on her rather sharky smile. She does have a little nose. It's very subtle in the sculpt. A little nostril. Or not nostril, you know what I mean. Nose. Wing? No? Here we go again. Me being confused by anatomy names. Words. Stuff. It doesn't look quite right. Yeah, I managed to get a hold of the Explorer Society faction book. Finally. I've been reading a little bit in that one. Rich light. Most of the Neverborn and Bayou ranges, 10 Thunders. Yeah, I back in first edition, Neverborn, and also like Neverborn really called to me. So I ended up with Arcanists because Colette and her showgirls also really called to me. A siren's call, if you will. But there are some really iconic Neverborn. Like Teddy was a huge draw for me to the game. Was the call collect? Yeah, probably. Something like that. This nose was tricky. Darn it. And the performers in first ed actually had an attack called Siren's Call. Look at me explaining my little joke. And look at me painting out of camera. That's not ideal. Here we go. Personally, I say go for Neverborn, Wishlight. Neverborn are just so cool. Obviously, just do what you want, but yeah, that's my vote. Sorry, I missed a comment. Higzilla, cool going for the purple Nemo look. Yeah, I think it's could look pretty good. We're going for a slightly darker skin than the artwork. But maybe we want a little bit of, I don't know, contrasting color in the shadows. And that mottled effect on your skin looks cool too. And by the way, sorry, welcome, Higzilla. How are you doing? Just went straight with what you said and forgot to welcome you. Wishlight, yeah, I'm thinking the same. Just gotta pick a core box. Lucius currently the front runner. Lucius is really cool. And yeah, it's a good one. I've got in Neverborn, I played Pandora, Lilith, and Kolodi. And 2 of those got dead man's handed. Oopsie. So I played them back in second. So I kind of jumped to other factions after. Jumped into Resurrectionists when third dropped. Well, jump back into Resurrectionists, probably. Fabo, thanks for asking. How's your day? My day's pretty good. I been out jogging for a little bit and then sitting around at home painting. It's pretty good. Do work with paint commissions, so yeah, lots and lots of painting. Sometimes the odd little illustration. I really need to finish some more of my explorers because I've got a couple of tournaments coming up. I did finish the emissary last Friday. Need to take some pictures of it. The intrepid emissary, that is. Pretty cool model. Yeah, thanks for the follow, Higzilla. It's nice of you. Higzilla enjoys painting gremlins and outcasts in general. Enjoy playing guild. Cool. What do you play in guild? I really want to try out Nelly. I used to play her a little bit in second edition and want to try her out in third too. Also got her title model, which is really cool. I don't win a lot, Sonia Creed. Is that her full name? Yeah, I started off with Sonia in third edition because I wanted something pretty simple. Like I wanted to learn the new edition with something that was pretty simple on the stat card, so I could focus on learning the new rules. But I quite quickly became a little bored with playing her because she was pretty simple. Like, she was pretty fun, but I felt it was difficult to surprise opponents. You always knew what she was going to do, which I guess goes for other masters too, some of them. I really think that the Sonia title is pretty interesting. Fire, 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 yeah. And that's pretty fun. I had some fun playing Sonia Creed and hiring Lady Justice into the crew. Giving me two pretty huge threats. One ranged, one close combat, though obviously it was pretty damn expensive. Did you try the Sonia Creed title? Sonia Unmasked. You haven't? Okay. She seems a little bit more tricky, but also pretty good. It's pretty cool that I learned that if you got a guild lawyer and you pay, like, say, a witchling thrall to charge, if you're in the new Sonia's aura, the thrall will get to attack 2 times in that charge because a charge is a push. And models pushed outside of their own activation in Sonia's aura get to attack if they end up near an enemy. So that's pretty cool. Could be very nasty. Them guild lawyers are a bit scary. Who would have thought, right? Maybe we want to do some little... All lawyers are pretty scary. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. True, true. Guess we could try and do like little dots suggesting that maybe she has a scaly skin. Don't know if it shows up on camera much. But she doesn't moisturize. Well, I don't know. I faced Sonia in the other side too. She's scary. Her blast markers in the other side are pretty big. Or blast marker, I guess. Painting the knuckles. Highlighting the arm muscles. Hmm. Purple is pretty fun to paint. I feel I can also combine it with teal for a pretty cool cold scheme. They go pretty well together, in my opinion. I'll use some black to paint her eye sockets. Mm. And I think we're going to just add a little bit of white to the Slanish gray for some more highlights. Picking up that nose tip. cheekbones, chin, jaw, knuckles and finger joints. Also feel like I probably didn't pick out her brow enough. Like, I'm gonna highlight that a little bit more. Yeah, it's better. More knuckles. Probably little dots in the collarbone. Her chest muscles. I'm also gonna add God eftermiddag, Elinore. God eftermiddag, Wyrd. Det var väl trevligt. Kul att du är här. I'm gonna paint the teeth. Higgsilla, what made you pick this mold today? Well, it's well, like I on the Gen Con stream and the one after that, we painted Miss Happen, and then I'd also received this cool Nightmare box from Wyrd to paint, but I felt I wanted to finish up the last little bit of the Bayou starter first. So after that, I went for this, and I just thought a lot of people might want to see it painted because people have recently gotten their hands on it. Like a lot of people probably got it in mail recently and such. And sometimes it's nice with a little paint along, right? So how are you doing, Wyrd? Maybe yellow eyes could be cool. Mixed yellow with a little bit of white. Still doesn't cover super well, but pretty good. Pretty good. Been a bit more busy work-wise recently, but still getting stuff painted. That's nice. Glad you're getting stuff painted still. I pondered painting the minions in this box first, but you don't want to let the queen wait, right? It could be dangerous to your health. Just went straight for the queen. Or did I go gay for the queen? Sorry. Hey, Sila, I enjoy a paint along. I usually just turn on the tunes and try and paint. Yeah, paint along's cool. You paint right now? What are you painting? Wyrd, yeah, painting along with the streamers has worked out pretty well for me too. That's nice. Paint alongs and hobby hangouts are fun. I think maybe a little bit of corn red, like a dark red, mixed with a tiny bit of black. I think that could be cool as sort of shadow here and there. No weird projects at the moment. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I paint some non-weird stuff too at times. We all do it. No, we don't all do it, but yeah. Wyrd, after finishing the one start, I'm working on another Mysterious Emissary. Cool. I really like the Mysterious Emissary. And you really like the purple skin tone. Nice. The pale shade works so well for a creature living in the depths. Yeah, like it's sort of similar to the artwork, but I went for a bit more purple. And now I'm just experimenting with adding a little bit of dark red into the shadows. If you got a cool skin tone, warm shadows can be really nice, make it pop. If you got a very warm skin tone, you can do cool shadows. Which is often the way it looks in real life too. Not really talking about purple sea people right now. Like, I'm not knowledgeable enough to really explain or understand light in that way, but yeah. Try and find enough of an understanding about things look like and then apply it to my painting. Like, painting is just selling an illusion, right? Does she have webbed hands? I think maybe. Yeah, she does. She does in the artwork. Makes a lot of sense. Shading a little bit red. Around her nose and eyes. It's kind of cool. Gonna try and stay in camera. Yeah, I'm liking this red shade. Now I'm thinking let's turn our attention to the lower part of her body. Maybe thinking we'll go even more purple on it. Like some parts are a little bit warmer. Just a little bit. Not too warm. And I think we want to go brighter on the underside of her octopus arms. I don't say octopus tentacles, but because I've learned they are not. Like the ones with the suction caps or whatever they call, they're actually not tentacles. Which was pretty interesting. Well, to me at least. Like, octopus can have tentacles, but the ones with these little suction cups are not, scientifically speaking, I guess. Nathan Severson, do you enjoy playing as much as you paint? What is your favorite keyword to play these days? I do. I enjoy playing the game a whole lot. It's pretty balanced between painting and playing the game, actually. I'm exploring the Explorers faction. Been really enjoying playing Seeker and Syndicate. So Yetza and Anya, and also tried Maxine this weekend, which was a lot of fun. Before jumping into Explorers properly, I did play a bit of Yan Lo because I've had him for quite a while, but never painted him up, and then found an excuse to do that, and really enjoyed Yan Lo. So, but yeah, I'm mostly interested in Seeker, Syndicate, and EVS, but also Journalist. Like really want to find the time to play some Nelly. I'm optimistic when it comes to time. There's so many things I want to do all the time, and I don't get around to doing everything, of course. What's your favorite keyword, Nathan? I'm going to a tournament, not this weekend, but the one afterwards in Malmö, in the southern part of Sweden, which is the first tournament in a long time. So I'm really excited about that. I got a ton of stuff I need to paint, though. Not sure when I'll find the time. But I got Anya and Jedza Cruz started, at least. Don't think I'll take Maxine to a tournament. In a while. I feel like I need to practice her more before that. I only got one game in with her. So she's so fun. Try Chi these days. In tournaments, Infamous and Trixie. Cool. You don't feel like playing Try Chi in tournaments? Or is it just that you need more experience with them? I think I might have only faced Take and her Trixie stuff like once or twice this edition. And actually never Brewmaster. But I faced Zip some. There are so many masters now. You can certainly get blind spots in this game now. Or I guess you could for quite a while. Where you're like, oh, you can do, huh, wow, okay. There's so many masters. Keeping track of everything is, well, challenge. It's also really fun that we have so many unique, cool masters to play and face. So many cool puzzles to unlock. That's something I really enjoy with Malifaux, is trying out new master and unlocking their puzzle bit by bit. Which is why I tend to jump around between masters a bit. Nathan, I feel Brew isn't much of an all-rounder crew. Feels very passive, but Pickable changes that a bit. I haven't got it right yet. One Zip can do it all. Oh, cool. Like, I listened to the Capital City Crew podcast or something like that, and they seem to think that Brew was pretty darn good. I think. Exil, I heard you just like winning. Winning is fun. I think most of us enjoy winning. Not everyone might think it's very important, but I think most of us enjoy it. So I'm going over this with Zarius Purple. But maybe we should do a bit of slanish purple stuff in the, like on the other side of her arms. Nathan, I can only bring like 2 crews to any tournament without risking stuff breaking. I bring them in a brownie pan. Have you considered not bringing them in a brownie pan? I mean, if it works, it works. Just think it's pretty nice to have a proper miniatures bag. So I wanted this side of the arms of the suction cups to be of a cooler color. Color. I do mag them. I could bring 2 brownie pencils. Yeah. You could bring 2. Damn it. Now I want brownies. Oh, brownies. I shall have to make do without them. I think we're gonna just like paint over the whole underside of the arms and then pick out the suction cups later. Yeah, you could also bring brownies, you know. Cups. Um, hmm. Oops. I think now I'll bring forth some Gene Stealer Purple. Again from Citadel. I'm going to paint thin lines along the octopus arms. What do you guys think? Should we just pretend that she's underwater, or should we base her up like she's above some cliffs with water splashing against the cliffside? Or should we do her like in a coral reef or something? I really don't know how I should do it. Brush 486, another nice model. Yeah, it's really cool. Nathan, you don't want to buy your brownies. They're a little oversaturated with booze. Moist. Yeah, that doesn't sound great, I guess. I think maybe I'll pass. Brush 486 that I don't have. Oh, you will probably get the chance to pick up a set of these come Black Friday. If you want them. At least I think so. They're going to release the similarly themed counts as models for mature Nephilim on Black Friday. So I imagine this will be available too. Underwater for sure, 100%. Okay, thanks for the input, Brush Warrior. Hexilla says I should base her like the Trevi Fountain in Rome. I have to Google that. I get might be something I recognize when I see it, but like doesn't ring a bell currently. Star, star, star. I put a link to the fountain. I don't think everyone can link here. But thanks anyway. I'll Google it. Trevi Fountain. Oh, that's really cool. And an ambitious painting idea. Or basing idea, I should say. Do y'all watch any cool TV series? I'm really hyped about like The Witcher 3 or The Witcher season 2 is coming soon. And the new Dexter season is also coming pretty soon. Which is really great for when we head into fall to have lots of exciting TV to watch. Thanks for the link, Kim. Got a link for the Trevi Fountain there. Painting thin lines. Highlight, highlight, highlight. It's a very cool nightmare box, and I appreciate it even more when I had it in real life. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight the, well, that's a bit bright. Need to mix a little bit more purple in. Gonna highlight the suction cups. If it's not called suction cups, somebody stop me saying that over and over. Also gonna highlight the edge of the underside. I think that looks pretty good. Now I started thinking about that Netflix show with the swimmer who befriends an octopus. It's a really cool, interesting show. Octopuses are such fascinating animals. Don't forget what it was called, but Octopus suction cups are called suckers, so I think you're doing the best you can. Thanks. The suckers. Let's paint her suckers. Okie dokie. Let's highlight these suckers. That's a good word for it. I'm highlighting the suckers with Spanish gray. It's a little sad that octopus parents die before their offspring are born, or at least that's what I've learned. So they can't teach their kids anything, which is sad because they're such intelligent creatures. It's kind of holding them back, isn't it? Painting this arm underside, this suckers, it's a little difficult. So many different shapes to highlight. They probably would be running the government by now if they didn't, though. Yeah, well, you say that like it would be a bad thing. I'm all for octopus power. They should rule. They probably do a better job than we did. Oh, look at me being a nihilist. Don't want to get too political, but humanity is not doing a great job all the time. Maybe time for octopus. Rich Light, I welcome our tentacled overlords. Yeah, me too. Me too. I wonder if we could help octopuses live longer and like help them on their way to world domination, you know? If I was a supervillain, that's what I would do. Apropos octopuses, Calypso is pretty damn great, isn't she? and Dr. Beebe, or however you should pronounce his name. I kind of started saying Dr. Bebe, etc. They're ridiculously fast. All that AP goodness. I like that Calypso looks a bit like an octopus robot with crab claws. Pretty awesome. Excellent. You mean this chat isn't the monthly meeting of supervillains under guise of a paint along? Might be in the wrong chat. No, I think you're when you put it like that, I think you're in the right place. I think either machines, like in the Matrix, or preferably more like environment-friendly machines. Either them or the octopus, they should inherit the Earth. That's what I think. So how do we go about achieving that? Any ideas? All ideas are welcome. As long as they're as long as they are with our many armed overlords in mind. Are the days getting shorter in Sweden? Yeah, they are. It's 6:35 in the evening, and the sun is setting. Kind of cozy. I got this little pumpkin here behind me. Maybe I should start lighting candles. Could be atmospheric and nice. Like Halloween isn't the hugest thing in Sweden, but it is a thing. And I really quite like it. I love this whole horror, like cozy horror, I like that stuff. If that makes sense. Cozy horror. I like horror too, but don't get me wrong, but I'm quite happy that I don't live in horror though. Play weird. Any rumors about the esoteric order of brush lickers is false. Yes, I agree. It's false. Step 1, turn off the news. Step 2, go outside. Step 3, talk to your neighbors and get to know them. What? What are you talking about? How does that help us get our overlords closer to world domination? Do we talk to our neighbors about it? Peace be to the brushlickers. Yeah? Yeah? For sure. Trying to make these arms look a little shiny. They're wet. Slick. I like painting little areas to suggest texture. Don't have to paint that texture all over the mini, but suggesting texture, like where light would hit and would like strong light would hit and reflect, strongly showing that texture. That makes sense. You don't have to do that texture all over the miniature. That would take ages. I'm going for the previous highlights I did with Jeansteel Purple and doing some further shiny highlights with Slanish Gray on top of them. Then again, I have not painted all of the suckers yet. Jumping back and forth a little bit is fine. Anyone else got a tournament coming up? If tournaments are a possibility in your area. some more little highlights there. This is taking a bit of time. That's all right. We're not in a hurry. Brush licking is certainly underway. Sometimes when I'm in the bathroom and I look in the mirror, I got lots of paint on the side of my mouth. I always feel so intelligent seeing myself then. Like that. Mm-mm-mm. I'm a little, like I kind of want to, I feel the urge to highlight up to white, but I'm not sure if we actually should. Maybe we should reserve that for her face. I'm not sure. We'll see. Mm. I feel like darkening the middle of the suckers a little bit. This arm looks a little messy. Starting to look better, I think. You know what I think would be cool is maybe adding a little turquoise in places. I think we'll do that. Or some, like a red, blue, green. So I'm grabbing some Lupercal green from Citadel, and I'm gonna see if that could look cool as a shadow, which I believe it would. I think the effect is pretty subtle in the camera, but I'm liking it. Gives it a pretty oily feel. Shading with unexpected colors can be pretty cool, actually. Slippery. Was that a reply to something I said? Sometimes I forget what I've said. And I get confused when someone responds to it. Using a very thin down, or a pretty thin down coat of Lupercal green to create some interesting color shifts. Glazing it over some existing shadows and highlights. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit more red downwards like that in the face could be cool. And kind of like red eyeshadow. You know what? Let's jump in there with a little bit of pure white and just do some quite limited highlights for that wet, slippery look. Yeah, the slippery look. Maybe that was it. Yeah. Thank you. I'm no longer super confused. Maybe a few white little highlights there. That looks good. Look at me complimenting my own paint job. Complimenting me on my own paint job. Yeah? Well, why not? We gotta be kind to each other and ourselves. So I have this weird thing where whenever fall comes around, I get a weird urge to paint undead miniatures. Anyone else have that? I think it might be connected to Halloween, but also perhaps connected to me painting undead miniatures in the fall in my childhood or something. I think I did that. Just feels pretty nostalgic. Kind of. Paint her little claws. I say little, they're pretty huge. So next, I think we'll paint her her armor. We could do, or maybe, yeah, let's do the seaweed. She's got like a seaweed dress almost. I think we'll paint it Citadel Dark Reaper. Just a rather dark gray paint with some green in it. Or blue. It's slightly turquoise. And then we'll see how we get to highlighting this later. So what are people's plans for hobby this October? What do you want to try and get finished? I really want to finish my Anya and Yetza cruise. Well, most of them. Don't have to finish all the models in them, but make them playable. So that's the goal I have for October. Just got a bit of paint there. We do not want it. Anyone in chat doing UK Nationals this year? Yeah, I was gonna do that, but I had to get back my ticket, unfortunately. I'm really gonna try next year, though, when hopefully things are simpler. All caps. Yeah, it's fine. I thought that looked funny. It made me smile. I think maybe people fell asleep. Or their boss came over and wondered what they were doing. Maybe something like that. What do you think? Maybe they've been eaten by a grue. What's a grue? Should I be worried? Grue makes me think of supervillain dad in Despicable Me. Different spelling, though, I think. I don't think he eats people. Gru is a reference to an early game called Zork. Oh, okay. Zork, that's one of the... It's like a text-based game, right? Or the game asks you what you do and... Yeah. Cool. Have you played it? I'm guessing yes. I'm guessing you were eaten by Grus. Cool. Yeah, poorly. I've been eaten by so many Grus. I need to Google Grus. I wonder if people have made fan art. Is there a description of what they look like? Guess I'll find out. Gru.jpg. Oh, this scary one looks angry. There should be a Gru reference in Malifaux. Malifaux is great with references. I'm sure you could find a Gru place for Gru, right? I think we painted most of the seaweed dress. Is there anything else that we should paint in the same sort of color? I don't know. What do we highlight this with? Maybe a bit of Celestra gray. I think so. Mixing in some Celestra gray from Citadel to highlight this. That looks good. Can paint several lines on these, like underneath or above each other. Since it's supposed to be seaweed, it could be. We could have a similar approach to painting hair almost. Like highlighting these strands. Kitty wants to play catch. Can't you play catch with the other Sitkin? I'm painting. I'm in the middle of a stream. You think I'm boring? No, she left. Let's see. Yeah, this kind of muted color probably works pretty well, right? Still think the arms, the undersides, they look a little messy still. Maybe I can remedy that somehow. Kay walked in again, looking at me. Yep, still boring, and then left. Are you bored? Yeah, I'll throw it. Yeah, but I'm working. So it just makes more and more Celestra Gray into the Dark Reaper. Whereas that Dark Reaper was a pretty badass name for a paint. Or silly, depending on your perspective, I guess. I'm gonna go with badass. My cat often thinks it's boring to play on her own. So Kim, how's it going with your witch box? Forget what it's called. Witch's Brew? No, that's a tournament. The Altsarida box. Kim says the migraine knocked me out of my groove, but I'm getting back in the saddle tonight. That sounds good. Yeah. Hope that migraine was the first and last. Did you paint the toad yet? I don't think I've seen that. With some pure Celestra Gray. Wyrd, hi. How are you doing? Really excited for the Rotten Harvest box, even though I haven't painted last year's yet. Yeah, it's really cool. I haven't got any of them, but I'm looking forward to seeing them on the table. So how are you doing, Wyrd? Or is it Wyrd? Wyrd, I'm thinking. Doing well, trying to get through my backlog. That's a noble quest. A very noble quest. Which I kind of sabotaged by buying a whole lot of Explorer stuff. But I did sell a little bit of my old stuff too. Which is good when people want miniatures they can't find. Hardest part is putting things away when I feel like they could be improved. Yeah, that's difficult. It's easy to be like, to kind of want to do everything as well as you could. I find it's difficult to decide. Sometimes I feel like I should speed paint some stuff, but then I always end up being like, no, not this crew. No, not this crew. This crew deserves more attention, and then that ends up being most of the crews. Like I speed painted a Ramos crew and a Lady Justice crew, and I think that's it. Pretty much. Nicodem crew too. Oh. Very weird. I tend to declare loudly, okay, I'm done now in front of my partner, so he will judge me if I pick it up again. That's brilliant. That's a brilliant thing. Maybe I should try doing that. Thanks for the advice. Larry got same. I always trying and failing to speed paint. Yeah. So easy to fall into that little trap. Where did I put that? Yeah, let's do Steel Legion Drab as a base color for her armor, I think. Leaving some black showing in between the armor plates and her skirt and skin. Yeah, I guess I could take pictures of them all, send them to my girlfriend and say, this one's done now. And she'll be like, oh, okay. And then maybe that would work. And I will not touch it after that with a paintbrush. I did actually go back to an illustration I made months ago today because I saw it in my Instagram and I was like, that hand is too little. I just fixed that. Months afterwards, many months afterwards. Actually messaged the commissioner asking, hey, did you print this? Because I just fixed this little thing. And he laughed and said, no, I have not printed it yet. So sometimes it's just really difficult letting go. I find sometimes you just gotta call your meeting done, and not everything needs to get like push your, or not every miniature needs to push your limits in every way. Leisure painting, or whatever you should call it, should be a thing, I think. Now this khaki color, or beige color, is perhaps a bit warmer than the skin and the skirt, but that could be a good thing, giving us some contrast. Regard, going back a month later is a bit more forgivable. You could legitimately have improved in that time. That's true. That's true. As long as you keep moving forward, I think. I've heard of people falling into traps being like just stripping models and painting over all the time. You can do that if you want to, but I think moving forward is perhaps more productive. Wait, is that her muscle? I forgot to paint her biceps because I just thought that was armor, but she's just ripped. Okay. Oopsie. I think for me, I try to tell myself that not everything has to be perfect. And I think that's good for me. Try and do your best. But don't beat yourself up about it. And sometimes, to be fair, we don't, like, every miniature can't be a golden demon submission. So, Learguard, what do you have on your paint table right now? Filling in this bicep we missed earlier. It's also hard when things look better in person than they do in pictures, but no one is seeing my stuff in person right now. Oh, yeah. It can be a little rough. I get that. It is really different seeing something in person and in real life, for sure. Okay, back to bone armor base coat. Wyrd, I just finished, or put away anyway, spell leaders. Now I have So Summer Seeker, Cadmus, Last Year's Rotten Harvest 988 on all the Tidal Wave stuff I got. Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. But the Spell Eater is fun to paint. The crown's gold in the artwork, right? Yeah, it is. Did a good job on the magic effect and mediocre on the model itself. But yeah, very cool. Okay. Well, maybe the magic effect will really draw people's eyes and the rest might not be as important. My bad. Yeah, it's definitely brighter than I think it will. If you wanna, could share them on a Wyrd place or the Discord. It's always fun seeing people's paint jobs. He posts them on the Discord. I'm gonna try and be better at following the Discord paint thingy. I tend to forget about it. There are so many channels to look at now for me, but if you ever want me to give any feedback or just want to show me some cool stuff, you can also just tag me in. Sometimes we want feedback, some constructive criticism, but I guess sometimes we just want to show off some cool stuff. And sometimes when we feel like we're done with something, we might not want. Constructive criticism, just want to be done and feel a bit good about it. Need to learn how to balance colors and hues. Yeah, that's yeah, I think one way to think about it is that what color or colors, usually what color do you want to be sort of the main character, the main theme of the model? And the others should probably be a little bit less saturated to try and complement that. If you got many very saturated, and that means strong colors, then they can start competing for the viewer's attention. Oh God, I tend to pick a primer and a secondary color for a couple elements, but then I have trouble making the other little details varying colors without being distracting. Yet one thing you could do there is that you can pick, there's actually a technique for that. Unless you think mixing colors is rough, you can, if you got a wet palette, that really helps here, but you can pick a color like the main color and just mix a little bit of that into every other color you're using to paint that miniature. So for example, if you're painting a miniature where purple is kind of the primary color, you could mix a little bit of that base coat, just a little bit, into the paints you're using to paint all those belts, etc. to yeah, like a mother color, yeah. To tie everything together. It's not something I use a lot, but something to think about. I can make it look really natural. Just don't overdo it, but just a little bit. I think maybe I should try and do that more in a stream. You can also do that like afterwards, just glaze a little bit of that color onto some areas to create some more harmony on your color scheme. Kim says, recently I've been experimenting by using the same base color on my Earth and Harvest set by trying to take them in different directions. Yeah, that's a really good exercise. For sure. Yeah, it could be fun, for example, to start off with purple and everything and then have that as a shadow and just pull that in different directions. Wyrd, I did that once. It worked out well, but then I didn't keep it up for some reason. Well, it's worth giving a shot. Don't have to keep everything up. Yeah, if you feel like your colors aren't really working in harmony, I think that's a good solution, doing something like that. For instance, if we thought this armor ended up being a bit too, I don't think it is necessarily, but ended up being too warm, where it just becomes distracting instead of complementary, we could glaze that with some purple, probably a couple of times to pull it down again. Or we could just do cold shadows. Cold shadows, that sounds like a goth band or something. Need to do more glazing in general. Yeah, I tend to do pretty heavy glazes a lot of the time because I don't really always feel like I have the patience or time to do tons of very subtle glazes. I think that works pretty well too, to be honest. Okay, so I think we are going to mix in some Rakarth flesh into this Steel Legion drab, start building up the highlights. Rakarth flesh is a very flexible color because I feel like it works for like dry zombie skin, and like very sickly looking witch's skin and such. but also works very well for bone, actually, like old slightly yellowed bone, in my opinion. So I mixed together a bit of rock art flesh and steel agent drab. And this armor part here, it's jutting out a little bit on top. So we kind of want a shadow right underneath that. I'm picking out the detail, the segments on these little crab legs. Crab armor set. Wonder what set bonuses it has. Trying to pick out these fish bones. And the same thing here in the backside. Got it's like jutting out. And we want a shadow underneath that. So we're keeping that mix there. Could also have done a wash on this, of course, but decided against it. You don't really need to use washes all the time. Watching washes dry on stream is also not very exciting. And I wanted to just focus on this mold today, so then skipping washing. She don't need a wash. She's underwater. It's really cool. Jawbone. Chest armor. Who doesn't want that? not using a cork to hold my miniature today. And that's because this miniature has a pretty big base. So I didn't really... And it's also a miniature where you don't... The base doesn't complicate things in painting her much. So I didn't feel like I needed to. Like, there are no areas that are very hard to reach. And the 50 mil bases are pretty good to hold, I think. Speaking about horror and horror shows earlier, I think I watched Midnight Mass. I thought it was a really good horror show. So I can recommend that. If you want some nice horror to watch nearing Halloween, it's by the same ones that made Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor. Speaking of which, the Deva and English Ivan's crew, they look pretty, or one of them looks pretty similar, in my opinion, to one of the ghosts in Haunting of Hill House. Or was it Bly Manor? Hill House, I think. Unsure. Really cool ghosts, both in the show and in Ivan's crew. Midnight Mass is really good. Yeah, glad you think so too. I finished it this Sunday. Very good show. Yeah, Hill House. Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like it might have been inspired by that show. Maybe. Play Wyrd, I thought the Fear Street movie was pretty fun. Fear Street? Is that a new one? Should look into that. There we go. Yeah, missed that. I don't have a lot of I seem to have lost track of films somehow. Can't get up anymore. Set of 3 movies on Netflix. Part of a trilogy inspired by the R.L. Stine teen horror novels. Okay, I haven't heard of those actually. I'll look them up. Thanks for the tip. Next, we'll go over the armor with some pure rock art flesh. And you know the drill. We want to leave the previous layers showing. I'm not worrying about being super neat with this highlights because it's an armor made from bone. And I feel like a somewhat rough finish kind of fits. You can probably make really neat bone armor, sure, but still, I think some roughness doesn't look out of place. The whole window peeking scenes in Midnight Mass really scared me a ton. Made me want to cover up all the windows with curtains. We're concentrating our highlights here towards the edges. The armor plate. We'll mix in some white or maybe go with Wraithbone or something to do a probably final highlight. I think we'll just mix some white in. Could probably darken some of the shadows a wee bit, but we'll see. Adding some white. Pick out these edges. Oops, I got a little thick. Let's go here. I like the edges to look a little jagged. This almost creamy bone color contrasts pretty nicely with her purple skin. Whilst I hope not looking out of place, I think it complements rather than looking just out of place. But speaking about like what we talked about earlier, if we felt it was too much, we could just glaze it. Picking out these little different segments in the armor. The crab's legs, I should say. I think they're crab's legs. I think crabs are really cool. They're like, nah, I think I'm just going to move sideways, actually. It's a better way to do it. Crabs. Ultimate form, right? Just highlighting the edges of these armor plates, running the edge of the brush along the edge of the armor plate. Picking out the teeth, around her neck. Going over these edges and the different segments. Building up some contrast. So we're dealing with, like, the bone is kind of light. I'm thinking probably we're going to keep her hair kind of dark. Kind of like her hair is black, but maybe highlighted with green or blue maybe. I think would look nice. So that dark hair becomes a pretty good backdrop for this lighter skin and bone. So when we're done with this stage, we're going to be wrapping up the stream, and we'll continue painting this regal sea dweller on Thursday. It's been really fun hanging out with you guys today. I'm glad we got quite a lot of company. Painting this exciting model. Very God says, thanks for the tips. Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you like them. Try to be helpful. And if ever anyone wants help with some constructive criticism on a paint job, just hit me up on Discord or Facebook. Freshest follower, Boomerfish. That's thematic. Thanks for the follow, Boomerfish. I'm glad a fish approves of this Sea Queen paint job. It's just nice, you know? Just nice. Could do a small white highlight on some of the, like a pure white highlight on some of the tips, like outermost edges of things. And probably on the teeth. Painting these teeth this many times, such many times, like it's probably unnecessary. Could have just waited till the end and just picked them out with white, but whatever. I think we're gonna put white dot here and there. Yeah, we've gotten quite far at least. Still a ways to go, but yeah, we gotta paint the crown, gotta paint the hair, gotta paint her trident and her pet fish. So yeah, looking pretty good, I think. I hope you think so too. And yeah, if you want to see more stuff I've done, you can follow all those links that Kimberly posted in the Twitch chat. You're a hero, Kim. Thanks a lot. And remember to push the bell icon and subscribe to the Play Wyrd channel too. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. And next up we have, who do we have next up and why do I never learn? Why do I never learn, Kim? But yeah, Thursday, 11 a.m., more from me. Oh, maybe Wojtek, but he's had an emergency. I hope that sorts itself out, or he's able to sort it out well. Stay tuned for updates. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Bye. See ya.